page-turners. You're listening to Pages Across the Prairies with Adriana
and Christine,
your virtual book club where two besties dive into stories and spill all our thoughts.
Think of it like your coziest book club, but without the dress code. So grab your book, pour your favorite drink, and let's talk chapters. So we're here today discussing Slashed Beauties by A. Rushby, and this is our spoiler-full version. There will be spoilers up ahead. If you wanted something spoiler-free to kind of let you know if you want to read the book, that is in our last episode. We can link it, where we just kind of discuss the book without spoilers.
Yeah, perfect. All right, shall we dive in? I think we're both excited to talk about this book.
Yeah, it's been, like, we usually try and save everything good for a book club, but this was one that I just couldn't keep my mouth shut about.
No, I know as I was reading, like, the last 7 hours, I pretty much just brought you back along with me for every single thing that came along in it.
I just did that with our last novel, like, with we kind of tandem read. We read 2 books at one time, kind of, but they had nothing to do with each other, but I did that too with the other novel we were reading.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, because it's like, I can share what I'm feeling with someone who's going to understand right now.
That's my favorite thing about book club.
Yep, exactly.
But before we started this, I used to feel so abandoned in novels. They change your life sometimes, and nobody cares. Nobody wants to hear it.
Now I care, and I want to hear it.
And the whole internet gets to hear it too.
Exactly. So does everyone else.
It's good. I don't know. It's too lonely to read a book by yourself sometimes and not have somebody to share it with.
Especially ones that are heavy.
Like this.
Or traumatic. Or just horrific.
Or that have cool little facts. I mean, you can still share the facts, but... Okay, so do you remember what our ratings were sitting up? I think mine was 7.5.
Mine was a 7 out of 10, but now that I've finished the book, because my rating was when I was halfway through it. And I ran out of listening hours. That whole thing. Again. But yeah, so my rating has changed, so I'm not sure when we want to touch on that, but...
I don't know either, because it's weird kind of just having left off of last spoiler-free episode.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember what I explained for why my rating was where it was at. But how about we just dive in, and we always look at our ratings again at the end, so...
Yeah, let's do that. All right, yes. Both started at 7, 7.5, and subject to change.
Yeah, always subject to change. Fortunately, usually goes lower, but...
Usually.
Where do we want to start? Because I know we wanted to discuss history. That Slashed Beauties actually does have book club questions at the end, so we're going to do some of those today, and then we just generally just throw in whatever we want to discuss.
Pretty much. Anything that impacted us.
So I'm not sure where to start.
Well, I'm curious about the book club questions, because I listened to it on audiobook, and I didn't get book club questions, so this is all new to me.
Oh, really? I don't have my copy of ebook available right now, but I'm pretty sure the one I found, because the first question was what I remembered. I think that this is the one, the questions that were there, but if they're not, I apologize. I'm trying to think which one's best to just start it off with.
Well, we can first start while you think about that. Was this book what you expected?
Yes.
All right.
I'm just thinking about it. I mean, maybe not, because it's been a couple weeks since I read this, right?
Yeah.
And obviously at this point, it's fully sunk in what this book is about. Just based off of the cover, based off of reading the back, it's pretty close to what I would have thought. I mean, certainly a lot of amazing details and other things happening in between, but overall, I knew it was about wax figures that came alive and killed people. All the history before it, I didn't expect. And as well as the jump back and forth. But yeah, I think what about you?
No, it's not what I expected. I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that from what you told me, wax models come to life, but I had no idea how on earth this is going to take place.
Yeah.
I just kept the whole time how is this going to happen? Maybe this is. I had so many theories, but it's not what I expected. I think I was expecting it more to be more about the Sarai life and the horrors that came to them while working it, but they don't even open.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, as tragic as the ending is, at least they were spared from that.
Honestly, a lot of other terrible things, but at least they didn't have to deal with more awful men in that way.
The plans that I'm sure Elizabeth had for them.
Yeah, I was really worried it was going to be more lost their heads kind of brothel institution, and I was really frightened for them in that aspect, but a whole new drawer of frights came along instead.
You got something else. Entirely. Yeah. No, I didn't. I wasn't sure. The wax models I thought were made long after their death. I didn't think that it would cause their death. That was not what I expected.
I can't remember what I thought. I had so many theories.
Yeah. Didn't you just love the opening though? Like when they're talking about Elizabeth's and how it would lure men. I thought that was really enticing, and how they built this cool little building for her and had the headphones that you put on. I loved that. That was so very enticing.
Oh yeah,
as it was intended to be.
They nailed that.
Yeah. So now, having finished the book, how are you feeling about Alice's part in it?
Yeah, so for pretty much half the book, I was like, I don't understand why Alice is part of this. But now, obviously, since it's clicked, I'm like, okay, I like her. It makes sense. It makes sense why she's part of it. And it just adds a whole nother layer of just misery.
It does. I think for me, and maybe for you too, I was just loving the history so much that whenever Alice came around, I kind of got irritated at her because I was like, bring me back, even though it's terrible.
That's exactly what happened. I'm like, okay, this girl can't fall in love, all these types of things. There's something wrong. Somehow she's connected. I had theories in my head, but I just wanted to know more about the Sarai and the gardens and Eleanor's life. Well, and I guess in a way, we got to know about her life through Alice as well.
Yeah, well, you did. But what did you think of the twist? Because I mentioned that I did expect, but you did not. At what point did you figure it out?
Pretty much when they said it.
That's fair. I feel like they did a pretty good job kind of for Eleanor hiding that she was pregnant for a long time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Right at the start, Alice mentions that she feels nauseous all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And her friend, I think it was Ro, gives her this ginger chew.
Yeah.
Or she pops a ginger chew when she's on public transport, and then later her friend got her something ginger. And I just hung on to that the whole time. Because it was, I just kept thinking about, she's always nauseous. That must be awful. And when I watched the interviews, the author did that. Everybody's going to try and hide the twist, right? But she did that intentionally so that you would look back and be like, oh, there was clues.
There were so many clues looking back. And I'm just like, this one, that one, the other thing. It was like...
No, it was when she was feeling nauseous, and then the second that Eleanor started to feel nauseous too, I was like, we're the same person.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
No, I think a lot of people did not. So, and I usually don't catch the twist, so I'm quite proud of myself here.
Good job. Yeah.
It's probably just because I'm around too many pregnant people lately.
That could be too many red flags of oh, something's going on.
Yeah. Well, I find almost sometimes in society people are like that. The second you say you're nauseous, they're like,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So the first question, I guess, from these book club questions is, did you believe Alice to be an unreliable narrator? If so, what points of the story did you have doubts about her? And did it change your perspective on Alice as a character? And I think that's really good to lead into with our discussion on Alice already happening.
Yeah, that's a really good one. An unreliable narrator.
See, for me, when I think unreliable narrator, I think slash patient. I think slash patient.
Silence. I was I don't remember that one.
Sounds horrific. I'm sorry. Okay. No, I think silent patient. I think of a main character who doesn't actually know that they're lying, that they're so deranged that they, or their reality so distorted that they actually think what they're telling you is the truth. Whereas with Alice, maybe she wasn't intentionally hiding the fact that she was Eleanor, but I just felt like, she's immortal, she's lived so long that she's not specifically hiding details from me, she's just not thinking about it.
Yeah, she withholds crucial information, but what you just said, I think, stands very true. She's like, I've lived here for so long, why do people need to know this? But I always knew in the book she's been around for a long time. I don't know how. She's must be some part witch or... Who knows? But I'm like, maybe this, maybe that. But
well, with it being set in the future too, it adds in an element of, I don't really know what's going on in this future society anyway that could cause people to live so long or whatever, I actually, off the start of it, I kind of got Ugly's series vibes, just from the futuristic thing.
Yeah, I think that she was kind of unreliable as a narrator because she just left so much out.
Yeah.
I think she's 18 or 20 or somewhere in between there, even though she's 200 and some years old. But she acts so much more mature, and it's just
she does. And also what we were discussing was people seem to treat her like she's a lot more mature too, which is strange to me still, because she would not appear.
I wonder. I have a lot of questions about her appearance and age because of her being 200 and some years old. What does she look like?
Well, and didn't she have pink hair too?
It was cut short, and she had a lot of tattoos. but I don't remember the color of it.
I could be wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Who was your, this is not from the book club questions, but I'm just curious, who was your favorite character?
I think at the end of the day, I thought about this a lot. I think Emily ends up being my favorite character.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. My brain didn't even think she was an option for some reason.
Oh no!
That's a good choice. Yeah, she was so well-rounded as a character.
Yeah. What I was thinking is she's a support character to Eleanor, and like the book would have not been as good without Emily always being there, but they really made a lot of details about Emily and like created a full-on character for her.
They did, yeah.
Like, yeah. She's always just doing her best.
We've talked about characters that just exist just for the main characters to essentially use them, and they don't have any depth to them. And Emily did.
So much. We almost knew as much of her past life as we did about Eleanor's.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good choice. I think for me, my gut instinct is to say Elizabeth.
Really?
Yeah. I enjoy a good villain.
Well, you got the best.
She was just very psychotic.
Yeah, like a super manipulator.
She manipulated me. I was trying to see the good in Elizabeth, and I kept expecting, like, something. But kind of the point where I gave up on that was the bird.
Oh.
There's no redemption for you then, okay.
Yeah, I never could find any good in her from the beginning, middle, end, or anything. There was not a scent of it. I'm like, you're up to something, lady.
Mm-hmm. Well, just the introduction of her. You know, I was kind of drawn into that glamour like Eleanor was of this Elizabeth, and she brings her out to dinner and kind of saves her, because what was Eleanor going to do that night? I think she had one more night to stay, but after that, like, what was she going to do? And so Elizabeth kind of came in as her savior.
Yeah.
And so I expected good things from her, and then she said, you know, you don't have to make a choice right away. So I was like, oh, okay. But I guess like Eleanor says, or Alice, I think it was Alice. Yeah, I mean, same thing. But in the Alice entry, she mentioned being groomed, and that is kind of stereotypical grooming behavior that Elizabeth was displaying, which I do like. I like the idea of a female being the groomer.
Yeah.
That was an interesting take.
Yeah, it's an interesting and a whole new different level of sickening take.
A whole different level. But I think it happened. I mean, horrible things happen all the time, but it is something that does happen and often doesn't get discussed. Well, that quote that I had that's like, we're never actually safe.
Yeah, just stands so true in this book.
Yeah, it does.
But it's like Elizabeth for the whole book, like from the beginning, just seemed to always have like this underlying ick, distrust type things. Like she earns people's trust, obviously, but then she just rips it away. So it's just like, I feel like you're paying for her dinner, but she wants something more from you. Yeah,
that's very true. She definitely did. And it was weird to me that her whole wealth was based off of Emily's trauma. That's Emily's money.
Exactly. Yeah. Didn't trust her in the slightest, but I'm really, really fascinated that she's your favorite character.
Well, I didn't think about Emily, but she just keeps the plot moving.
Yep. Well, there also wouldn't be a book without Elizabeth, so.
And I like a character that I can't really predict.
Oh,
It was an anomaly to me. I was like, what are you doing next? So I think she was really well thought out. Yeah, like super dynamic character.
I think so. But I wonder when these characters are being created, because they're all so very unique and in-depth. Do you think that she had like a murder board style thing of the characters?
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
If that was a real board, I would love to see it.
Me too. In the book, I was absolutely appalled that these men are just walking around with Harrison lists in their pocket. Just be like, what lady do I want today? I mean, you can find everything on your phone. Everybody walks around with whatever they want on their phone. But just to walk around like this fancy garden with the list of...
Yeah, you're in normal society.
Yeah.
And you've got a list about, like, very explicit descriptions of females. There was one I read something about, like, she just freshened her bottom.
Oh my goodness. I mean, well, the details.
True. Yeah, but it is so weird that was normalized back then.
Yeah. I mean, it changed shortly after, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like probably even nowadays people would still go into, say, a convenience store and buy a woman's magazine, right? I mean, probably most people wouldn't. I don't know. I don't work there. I don't know how many sell.
Yeah, me either.
If they're still being made, then they must sell. But I haven't looked into any facts recently.
You've looked into other facts.
I have been. Far more interesting ones. Look into the historical versions of those.
Yeah, it's more interesting when it's the history ones. You know, people in the future can look back on our generations.
Well, for our little challenges that we do, I did want to find, like, do a then and now, like take an entry from Harris's list and put that up, and then compare it to a modern day description of women and guess if it's, because there are entries detailing females or female physiques. I don't know. Some of the ideas I came up with was like model entries or whatever. But like I'm sure you can kind of think of like how sometimes females are described.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. I hope you make one of those because it'd be interesting to compare then and now.
Mm-hmm. It would be.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of ways things have not changed. They're just a little bit more undercover.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But it's true.
You find the most despicable character in this novel?
The most despicable? There's a lot of despicable people in this book.
I think ours is going to be the same.
Tell me yours.
Chidworth.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about that guy.
Oh, he's so slimy.
Dr. Chidworth. I've never actually wanted anybody to be murdered in a book. Because, like, that's wrong. I'm a pretty nice human being. But in this book, I was like, you go get him, girl.
Right? I feel like that was a little bit of, I don't know, sometimes a book gives you what you want kind of thing. That was one of those moments.
And like both of those characters, I was like, yeah.
Yes. But I told you, I was mad that Eleanor's guy didn't get it.
Yeah. I mean, he did. Him though seemed more common like to the rest of those kind of men in that area, but Chidworth, thank you, and the other guy, Emily's past person, he came back to blackmailing.
Yeah. And like when Emily's so sick, they're like, might as well one more time. Like, what?
Like, and just any chance they could get, like they were just like trying to get him up against the wall, and it's like, So they were on a different level than true. I think Eleanor's mishap was.
He maybe didn't deserve to be stabbed, but
but he's still
like maybe a little bit of a threat.
Something, but just not quite as.
Yeah.
How disgusting and volatile and everything that Dr. Chidworth was is like.
I
don't even know. But speaking of that kind of stuff, for a book about ladies of the night and Sarais, I was over the moon. There was no sex or steamy bits.
Yeah. I kept waiting. I was scared.
Yeah, I'm not as well, I'm not too into those types of books, so it was a nice escape.
A nice escape? Well, actually, historically, when we've read something that is just like way too open door, it's been my accidental recommendations. Well, Court of Thorns and Roses was yours.
I was recommended to read it by a friend.
And I was recommended to read Verity. Do not.
See, we just can't take recommendations from our friends.
Actually, what I do nowadays, I didn't do it with this book. See, I need to do it with all books. But if I feel like I'm a little bit worried, I'll type in, is it spicy?
Oh my goodness.
And a term I learned is when I was looking at Christmas novels, because there was that one that I recommended.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is it spicy? And it says, no, it's a closed door romance. So I like that term.
I can get behind that.
Right? Now I know there's all kinds of like book terminology and stuff that people use that I'm not aware of. Yeah. So yeah, that's a funny point because right off the start when Eleanor met Elizabeth, it was like, uh-oh. Well, and even the term like pleasure gardens, because I didn't know what a pleasure garden was before this. I was a little concerned.
Oh, me too, big time. I was like, what on earth are we walking into here?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I kind of wondered if it was like, and it kind of is, like I pictured it like by day pleasure one way, by night pleasure another way.
And I mean, like you said, it is kind of, but it wasn't so out in your face.
No. And, Eleanor didn't, she made the mistake of going down that one alley. She didn't until the end.
Yes.
Speaking of, you can see, so I believe this was based off the Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens, and you can look up pictures of the setup of it, which I thought was pretty cool. And I'm just trying to pull up the names for what each area was, because we kind of discussed, because it was huge, we kind of discussed what areas we would have liked to visit.
I would have loved to see that fake water fountain. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually tried to look up pictures of it, and I couldn't find descriptions of it, but I couldn't find any pictures or any like representations, I suppose.
Yeah, me neither. I tried to look too because I'm like, I gotta see this automatonic waterfall.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sad that we don't. I mean, we do. So Vauxhall still exists, by the way, but not as big, and it's like a park.
And were these the gardens that Alice did make her donations to?
Oh, yes. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that's where something I just want to clarify, which is, could you imagine?
Something else, because I was basically going to say that I wish we still had pleasure gardens, because they kind of went out of fashion. I realized in my research today, because I was looking up names of famous pleasure gardens, I realized that we still kind of do. In the sense, like in BC, I'm going to mispronounce it. I looked up the pronunciation, but the Bouchard Gardens?
Yes.
Have you? I have too.
Yeah.
I was very young. I don't remember what year. I was quite young, so I have a very vague. When did you go to it?
When I was like 15-ish. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you'll have an alright memory of it then.
It was so beautiful.
Did you see? I feel like when I was there, they did fireworks.
I never got to see fireworks. I was there in the daytime though.
Okay, and they had, when I was there, they had like a really big water fountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was huge.
And then so because it's so far back in my memory, I was kind of looking up because I remembered like a butterfly garden.
I remember that too.
Okay, so do you know if you had to drive to get there? Because it says like it's 5 minutes away. So I don't know if it's actually part of the gardens or if it's its own entity.
I don't remember having to drive to the butterfly garden.
I don't either, but like I said, I was very young.
Yeah. Yeah, I just looked it up. I didn't know that they're privately owned.
That's really surprising to me.
I wish we could go now because they have like a delicious looking high tea style dining experience.
It'd be so nice.
Wow.
Yeah,
They don't-
especially after having read this book too now.
Yeah.
I'll go and I will dress up as one of the characters and go there.
I was gonna say, if we did this, we would have to dress up in like that type of fashion.
We would have to. I liked how the characters each had their customary colors too. That made me so happy.
Yeah, I can't remember what other book we were reading in the past where it's like, oh, this color looks better on you. It was a green. I'm loving how these characters have like a color palette for each other.
Right? It helped build up their images in my mind.
Yeah. It's like a rose gown, a blue gown, like a gold, silvery, shimmery one. I'm like,
I was so surprised too with Elizabeth. Just in the character description, she seemed to be I don't want to say the most beautiful, but that's kind of how it came off.
well, it did. That's how I found her too, was to be the most beautiful and like the most sought after courtesan.
But she wasn't interested in selling herself.
She did that already. She doesn't want to do that again.
Sell other people. That was her. So when you looked up a Sarai, did they like? How many courtesan, is that the correct term for 18th century London?
London, that's where it took place. So in this, courtesans are referred to, it means so many different things.
Oh.
Like from what I'm quick Googling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's courtesan is a prostitute to the upper class clientele. So yes, they are.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm just curious. They normally employ only 2 people.
No, I think she wanted to build.
Yeah, I assume she would want to build, but that she had a very small enterprise, and I understand if you're buying everybody pearls and fancy dresses, you can't do that all at the hop. But it just it sounded like if they're bringing men over to entertain them and stuff.
Yeah.
And you've only got these 2 women, and Elizabeth, but
Yeah, she wasn't into that.
yeah, so I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I thought there were at least a few more. I don't think it was like as many as the brothel in When We Lost Our Heads. There was not that many people.
Right.
But I feel like she wanted to get a few more upper class ladies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and they were not like courtesans in the 18th century for like the upper class were not expected to like sell themselves on the street. Yeah.
Well,
The clients had to. What's that?
They had this beautiful little list that people could refer to.
Yes, exactly. So like, yeah, sure, they went and walked around a bit and like showcased themselves, but the clients had to be invited. Nobody could just walk up and be like, I need someone for the night. They had to be invited in, and it was very expensive. And then obviously the Madame Elizabeth would take a humongous chunk.
And then so then if they like you enough, they can move you to high keeping.
Yeah, and then you're the like one of like the only people that's allowed to be with that guy. Well, girl, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't have any other male
any other clientele.
Yes, that's the word. But as soon as you get old, you get replaced. So
Well, that's the thing. Like, there was one, I think I read it on the last episode, where they're like, oh, she's 30, but that means that, or did they say 30? Maybe not, I can't remember, but they said she was older. And they're like, but that means that she's more willing to do things because she knows her beauty is fading.
I think she was around 30 though, because like there's some really young, like Elizabeth, she was like 11 or 13 or something when she started. I was like, no wonder she's over that life. Do we want to talk about the connection of the bird and...
Yes, we could talk about that. I mean, I hope I'm right.
Well, I was absolutely flabbergasted when you told me all these connections. So, would you like to jump into that?
I'm trying to remember how I said it or like what all the connection was. I was just looking back at the cover of it and how it's... Because last episode, I don't know, on our spoiler-free version, I was discussing kind of this idea of women in cages, and I thought that it was a reference to like I told you, there's a couple singers that have done it, and then there's a book where like the woman literally lived in a cage. Well, lived not all the time, but she was showcased in a cage, like a bird cage. But anyway, so I thought it was a connection to that, and maybe it still is. But then I realized Elizabeth had a bird. Which, I mean, I knew that, but I didn't put two and two together that it was like, how do I word it? Like, Eleanor being the bird also, and then having those parallel stories back to back, and like, there was actually a lot of foreshadowing in what happened with the bird, because the bird got taxidermied, I think. Yeah, and what happened then with Eleanor as well.
Yeah, if that wasn't foreshadowing, I don't know what is, because I did not catch that. And like, when you started talking about how Eleanor's the bird in the cage, and how it's like foreshadow of bird being taxidermied, and basically the girls are taxidermied it away. What made me think about is when they sent off the bird, about how Elizabeth treated them, that is how she also treated the girls.
Maybe that is why Eleanor had so much sympathy for it. Like, I mean, obviously you're going to, but she was really describing how that bird felt.
The female bird, I'm pretty sure, who had, just like the girls, mistreated by men, and I think... And it's just like, there's the bird. I don't know how you caught that, but I'm so glad you told me. I would have missed it.
I can't believe I overlooked it. And we were kind of just discussing how we love when authors do, like, when you understand the cover suddenly, or when there's like these little secrets.
It's just like, we're in a new club now.
Yeah. I think I did that to you with A Sea of Salt and Sorrows, where I sent you, it was a mood board, and once you realize what some of these pictures means,
yeah, it's like, oh my goodness. A whole new doors opened up.
Yeah, that one, because some of the pictures meant really sad things that happened in the book. You're like, oh, you warned me, kind of, not really.
Yeah, that was really upsetting, because like, macaws are playful and intelligent and sensitive, and so is Eleanor and Emily and a lot of people in this world. And then just the horror of that poor bird being dragged away and screamed just broke my heart. That bird trusted her, just like how Eleanor had trusted her.
And the fear in its eyes. Oh, those passages, that's when it really started to just claw away at me, which is weird, because there was like actual, I mean, there was times like when Chidworth said, you know, I'm going to take payment later, and during the races and stuff, where I was like, oh, but I don't know, the description during the bird passages really got to me.
Well, it's this animal. We all know that people do horrible things to people, but no one should be mean to an animal, especially because they don't know what's up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Creatures.
Well, and take the bird. Ooh, Elizabeth.
Yeah, so that was really heartbreaking.
There was something else I wanted to ask you about that, but I don't remember.
Is it when it got taxidermied?
No, right, like the reveal of Eleanor's. Well, just the reveal of the Venuses, period. Like, what had been done to their bodies.
Yeah, that was super frightening. When they were... It took me a while not a long time, but I really had to think about it when they were describing it. Because like when they were talking about how it was like interchangeable for everyone with like, you know, the syphilis progression, I'm like, that's really interesting. And people do need to know that, but why do you have to? I was heartbroken that she was forever trapped in a broken...
Like a disease-riddled body.
Yeah, and like with all the different stages. Like, that was heartbreaking.
Like a little puzzle with the different...
Yeah, exactly.
I was kind of like you, where I thought that she was pregnant. I should have. Well, I don't like these women had only been with one person each, right? So I hadn't considered the fact of them having an STD.
Yeah, I never considered Emily having one either. I thought her bellyache was from a poorly executed abortion, and it was just turning into sepsis, and she was gonna die that way. Like I thought they had, yeah. So when it took me a long time to clue in that it was not, because I was so sure.
Me too.
They haven't slept with anybody, obviously, other than the guys that wronged them, but...
I thought that Chidworth had taken liberties with her, and I was so stuck on that I didn't consider anything else.
Yeah, I was very curious the whole time. I was like, what did he do?
Gross. Well, and especially with her being like, no, don't bring Dr. Chidworth or whatever, right? Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Ugh. Instead, he basically just gave her a faulty, horrible poison that killed her.
In his defense, that was common practice at the time.
Yeah, I looked it up. And I was like, well, still. But they still messed it up somehow. Like, he still gave her something faulty because...
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be using mercury to heal things, but, I mean, medical practice during that time.
Yeah.
It's not fantastic.
No, not at all. So, her anatomical figure was very hard to picture. Not hard to picture, but, like, you know, mentally distressing to picture.
Mentally distressing, yeah. I felt the same about Eleanor's too, though, just like the baby and...
Oh my goodness, to have her little baby forever crafted in this wax figure, like, that little tiny soul is trapped in there.
Disgusting. Elizabeth, that... Nope. And well, I just thought about, you know, if Alice also then has the fetus in her body through the century and also always, like, I couldn't imagine always having the symptoms of pregnancy.
And never being able to have your child. Yeah, it was really also distressing. You sent me that picture of the C-sectioned anatomical figure, and I just keep thinking about how she could feel like their fingers in her uterus. I was like, I can't do this, and it just broke my heart, all of it.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I try and avoid when I'm reading a book. I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to think about that. This author really didn't spare you from that option. Like, no. She's like, I'm going to vividly describe this thing you don't want to think of.
Exactly. And she did it in a way where it's like we feel all these emotions that you can't seem to escape from. You're not a fly on the wall in this book. You're, like, literally in it.
Yeah. Like, it's weird how it's like I did not live that life, but man, can I picture some of the things that are going on here.
And feel some of the emotions. But yeah, that must have been so devastating when she finally got to look at her figure. And... what I don't understand, maybe, I think I brought this up already once, is why did they save her wax figure?
Save Eleanor's?
Well, like, Eleanor was safe. They didn't need her wax figure because she was out of it.
But I think when the wax figures burn, then the characters are then also destroyed, was my understanding at the end.
Okay, because, like, when I listened to it, it seemed like she chose to go back into her wax figure to die.
Yeah.
And, like, because, like, they said, you don't have to go back. And she could have stayed Earthside.
I didn't read it as... I found the ending kind of, like, the way in which, like, the wax figures and simultaneously seeming... Like, I feel like I'm missing something. The way the wax figures and then their other bodies, because these must have been, somehow, they are immortalized natural forms. Because Emily's was still like she talked about washing their hands, and Emily's was still in so much pain and couldn't walk properly.
Yeah.
So it must have been some form of their natural body. How Elizabeth came to be, and I know that they had different. How was it described? Like how she had different parts of her, so that she could travel. But I didn't understand, how did she get her Earth body, like her form? Like, where did that come from? How did she like I know she didn't need the wax figure, but I don't know. I'm wording this incorrectly, but I was just confused as to how, like, all of a sudden she ended up there.
Yeah, I was really curious about that too, because her clothes crumpled to the ground afterwards. So she was more than just an apparition. So it's just like, I don't know.
Where did her Earth form travel from London? Did it then also manage to escape the fire? Because I'm just confused.
Because I had understood that Eleanor's body and an anatomical figure escaped. Elizabeth's body was laying down, breathing, and someone took her, thinking she was like an anatomical model.
Yes.
And
I just thought that they took the model, like the wax figure.
Oh, okay, I thought they took both, because they were just like, oh, let's take the one that breathes. Be really nifty.
So maybe something worth reading again, because it's such a new novel. It's a little bit tricky to find resources on it, but maybe worth reading again, or somebody enlightening me, because I feel like I'm just not.
Yeah, I want to know what
understanding that end better.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's one of those things. Very often when something just kind of goes over my head like that, I'll go and research it, and people will explain how these things worked, and I'll be like, oh, okay, but I couldn't find that, or did not find that for this.
No, me neither. There's not much out there, and it's really nice to read such a powerful Gothic horror book before a lot of people.
Yeah. I am finding that Gothic horror is one of my more enjoyed, especially if it's historical, Victorian. I think that's quickly becoming one of my favorite genres.
This is great. It's a genre I never even considered.
No. Well, it started for me with Aaron Craig?
Aaron E. Craig?
Yeah. But it just sounds weird coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever said her name before. But it started with those books where I was like, actually, I don't mind books that are a little bit darker.
Perfect, because I enjoyed those books too.
So now, a new enjoyed genre. Okay. Is there anything else that we want to discuss with this?
I just found that this book just kept scattering puzzle pieces, and you had 75% of them collected, but those last ones were just like, missing underneath floor mats. So this book, I don't know if you found it, but like, thank you. For 12 and a half hours, I was just like, what is happening? I need to get through this book ASAP.
I'd finished it and I was laughing at you.
Just want this horror to be over.
Yeah.
But also, I was so intrigued, I didn't want to put it down.
Yeah, no, it was super. It's one of those books that's like, oh, I wish I could read this again brand new.
Yeah.
And I don't often think that about books, actually. I'm certainly not somebody who will read a book twice.
No, but I'd be curious to read this book on paperback versus the audio.
Yeah, I did the ebook, and I really liked that. But I would also like to hear the audio.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just wait. I've demanded copies from my library. Like, they don't even have any on like virtual ones.
Really?
Yeah. So I put this little, I think they must get like a notification about it, because I put this little like, notify me when this shows up, because last time I did that, immediately after the book, all of a sudden they acquired it.
Oh,
just hope.
Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I do. I think I want to also get like a hard copy of this book, though. This would be one that I would want to highlight and write sticky notes, because if I had the book in front of me right now, then I could flip through all this history that I looked up that I've since forgotten.
Exactly. And it's like, I want to deep dive into the food history part of this book that they like, because they had little tins of milk and they had little pies, and I can't remember what kind of pies they were, if she even said. What did they eat during the first meal? I can't remember. Right. So I want to go back and just picture that more.
I was so wrapped up in her little, like, when they went out to the restaurant. I don't know if that's not probably what it was called, but when they went out to eat the first time with Elizabeth, I was so intrigued. And then I go to Google it, and it's like, oh, actually, the food there wasn't even that great.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I read this passage. I don't have the quote in front of me, but it was about because they had this thinly sliced meat, and there was high praise about this one chef who could, like, he wanted it like paper thin, like so thin that you could see through it. And there was high praise for how thinly they could slice it, and that it would cover this huge, like, geographical area, just like this one ham or something.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you, you'd recommend this book?
Oh, 100%, for like a lot of reasons. I want other people to have the same mental horrors that I did, and there's just a lot of really good history in it.
So much good history.
Yeah, like from the carriages to the food to the booklets, everything, the anatomical figures, it's all just so good.
Well researched history in it, I felt. Yeah, and I actually, this might be one that I might almost reread, just because I feel like I did miss so much.
Yeah, because I remember, I don't know if you felt this way, but when I first started the book, I was so confused, I had no idea what was going on. So it's one I would now know, could reread and catch those things that I've missed.
I do next time that I read one of her books, because she does have one coming out later in 2026, which looks at Victorian death photography. When I read that one, because I will be reading it,
me too,
I will have a hard copy, and I will be highlighting and writing.
Yeah, that'll be fun to talk about that one. It'll second season, 2026. I'm so excited. I'm so curious.
So is your rating still in the same spot?
No, my rating went like way up.
Mine too.
Yay! This book is so thought-provoking, and I have such a love-hate relationship with it, and like it's going on my new favorites list, and I'm gonna be thinking about it for a long time. I'm so glad you recommended it. So
I wish I need to start saving the pictures of where we find these and what people had to say about it, because I remember somebody had given it a stunning review.
I was gonna say it gets all the stars. Yeah. So what do you give it?
I should have thought about this beforehand, because it's gone way up, but I'm like, I'm so scared, because I gave a 7 one time, and I'm like, okay, now I'm stuck at 7. So how far up are we going? You start to compare it to other novels, though, and you're like, well, this had redeeming attributes here and here and here, and do I want to say this is better than that? So I'm going to go to an 8.5. I want to go to 9, but I'm a little nervous. It strongly feels like a 9 to me. I'm just nervous.
I'm just thinking of it as its own category and everything. It's like, think of this book as an individual and not compared to all the other ones I've read.
I'm going to say 8.5, and then once I've wrapped my brain around how the figures worked, then we'll go to it. Because I'm sure that I'm missing something.
Yes, we've got to be missing something. We just need to reread it.
Okay, so what caused the jump for you?
Yeah, when I gave my first rating, whatever,
Mark?
I was only halfway through the book and I still had 7 hours to go. So it really started picking up speed after that, and it started giving me more history, and things started clicking, but still not clicking. And it just became, I think, the story I was looking for unintentionally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even though I feel like so
disgusted.
Everything, like my bones feel ick. My veins are just wanting to shrivel up. That's just like, I can't. It's like something disgusting you don't want to touch, but you're also just like, but what does it feel like if I poke it?
Right? Yeah, like we were discussing it. It was something like, it's like torture.
Exactly. I just love books that make me feel so uncomfortable that I have to think. And after the second half started, that's all I could think about. It took over, even though it felt like I felt every emotion and became a little depressed.
A little bit, yeah. I'm kind of not glad it's over, but like,
yeah.
When you get a little bit of time before I dive into the next one, because they're heavy. But so good, but so much.
It is a lot. But I would... sorry, go ahead.
I'm just curious if there's some, like, an author that's doing this style of writing, but in a lighter tone. You know, because I love the history. Like, I do love the storyline, period. But for me, I can only read dark things so often.
Yes, that's the thing. We need like a long list of lighter things before another one like this.
Well, we did back-to-back 2 heavy reads, so...
Yeah, that was...
Not our Halloween read, it's the next one coming up.
Yes. Yeah, but I would like to see this one turned into a movie.
Oh, I would love that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I feel like that's pretty much all that we had.
Before you go, you had mentioned when you were in your schooling for nursing, you had anatomical figures.
Right. And I don't really know, like, because we had talked about the Venuses and the idea of science and art mixing. And I was like, I don't think in the medical institute that's. But then I started thinking just about like what we currently use. So I wish I had some pictures that I could share, but when you go into the labs, there's big signs saying don't take any pictures. Yeah, I'm sure you could just look some up though. But right when you walk in, right on an upper shelf, there's just like, I don't know if there's a name for this area, because it's like your front groin area and then your buttocks, and there's just a bunch of like just cut off though on the thighs, like not even mid-thigh level. So there's just like a bunch of those upside down on a shelf right when you walk in.
Okay.
And like you use these models for like learning skills and stuff, right? And it's cheaper to just use the part of a body, but
I suppose.
Yeah. Like I remember one of my first experiences, and this is a full model. We were doing something, I think it was just like cleaning them up. Yeah. We were just brand new and we were cleaning it, and somebody had just left the blanket like right off the female. I was like, oh, we better just cover it up.
I love it. I don't know what the word is, but good job.
They don't look super, like there were ones that like could blink and talk to you and stuff that we used in our simulations that were pretty cool. And it's like, I guess in a way, the more realistic the experience.
That makes sense, and that's probably why they started trying to make them back in the 18th century.
Yeah, like I don't think that they need to be wearing pearls, certainly, but
no, they do not need an expression of ecstasy
or have their little toes like that. I don't know what that really gets to me. There's one picture of like it zoomed in on her feet and her little toes are curled. And stop.
That's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary, but like having things like having anatomically correct ones obviously is important, but having them seem more realistic really helps make the situation feel more realistic.
Okay, and then were yours able to interchange the pieces like Emily's? You could like do the progression. Were yours like progressive?
No, the pieces on those medical models that I worked with, I don't think they were interchangeable ones.
Okay,
but are probably. The more wealthy your school, the better your models.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was just reading an article about how one of them you could take apart the 7 layers of skin and then get down to the fetus.
Okay, yes. Like, and I think like the more complex the procedure in which you're learning, right?
Yeah.
The more complex the model would need to be. We did learn about the different layers of skin, but there was the different layers of a wound.
Okay.
So there were some that had like progressed to different stages, but they weren't. I don't believe they were. I don't remember them being interchangeable.
It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, like all different stages that you just get to like look at.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I think that's pretty much all we've got anyway on this one for now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could discuss it for a long time, but
yeah, we could be here for another hour. But I think we've covered everything that we need to cover.
Yeah. And so our next book is Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I want to say okay every time. She's completely fine. That's another good read. Quite heavy though.
Yes. Yeah, they're subjects of mental stress, disorders. Yeah, stress.
Suicide.
And, suicide.
Mental health. Yeah. So,
mental health. That's the word I was looking for.
Do recommend it, but in the meantime, like, share, and subscribe.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for flipping through Pages Across the Prairies with us. Until next time, keep your tea warm, your bookmark handy, and if you enjoyed today's chat, like, share, and subscribe to join us again.